I want to move just a little bit. Oh, this hair. So bad. Oh! I mean, like, I have one side that just looks terrible. So, we're not going to show that side. Yes. Get the prop! Hey everyone, welcome to Worship Wednesday. I'm super excited this Worship Wednesday because my friend Lauren Dunn is here with us today to help lead us in worship. Lauren has really been like a mentor to me since I was in youth group, and I'm just so thankful to have her here. So we're doing Walking on Water by Needtobreathe, and this song is about when God called Peter on the water, and that's a passage that the Lord has used a lot in my life. So we're going to read it real quick, and I'm going to kind of talk about it. So Matthew 14:22 through 33. I know it's a big chunk, but let's read it with open hearts. So immediately he made the disciples get into the boat and go ahead of him to the other side, while he dismissed the crowds. After dismissing the crowds, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. That's Jesus. Well, into the night, he was there alone. Meanwhile, the boat was already some distance from land, battered by the waves because the wind was against them. Jesus came toward them, the disciples, walking on the sea very early in the morning. When the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were terrified. "It's a ghost," they said, and they cried out in fear. Immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, "Have courage, it is I, don't be afraid." "Lord, if it is you," Peter answered him, "command me to come to you in the water." He said, "Come." And climbing out of the boat, Peter started walking on the water and came toward Jesus. But when he saw the strength of the wind, he was afraid, and beginning to sink, he cried out, "Lord, save me." Immediately Jesus reached out his hand, caught hold of him, and said to him, "You of little faith, why did you doubt?" When they got into the boat, the wind ceased. Then those in the boat worshipped him and said, "Truly you are the Son of God." So I know this is a passage that we know very well, especially if you've been in church. You hear this passage a lot. But I really relate to it because here recently, when I graduated high school, I felt like the Lord called me out on the waters. And at first, I had complete faith, and I was like, "Yes, Jesus, you've got this." And then I started to see how hard it was, what he had called me to, and I was just like, snap, this is difficult. And so I started to sink, and I believe that God allowed me to sink, but he only let me go so far. And he pulled me straight out of the water, and now my life is completely dependent on him. I had to sink in order to learn how to be dependent on him. And in a society where we are always hearing how we should be independent, God's teaching me a different lesson, that I must be dependent on him. And so I'm so thankful that he's brought me to this point where I'm completely dependent on him. So let's just take this time to worship together.
Good job. High five. Okay.